Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, in case you ain't know so, and welcome back to another dope episode of Sports with SoSo. Coming to you live, y'all. This week, Joel and I talk about the Super Bowl. The Heat have won 4 of their last 6 games. The Panthers are reeling from the All-Star break, and we had an amazing finish to the PGA event this weekend. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go! That is your go-to, dog. And you know what? In life, they say if you do something well, you got to stick to it, right?
I do it well?
And if you do it well, dog, fuck it. That's your move, dog. That's your move.
Oh, what's going on, son?
Not much, man. How you doing, my boy?
Chilling, doggy. I'm out here, a little hungover from the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And it was a great game, dog, but...
I'm still debating that, man.
Why?
You know what? In whole... Yeah, I would say
that shit went to overtime.
I would say it was a great game. Yeah, longest game in history. We saw 2 record-breaking field goals. Patrick Mahomes come back. Come on. Yeah, great Super Bowl. The first quarter, it was rough to watch, though. 0-0. And then that first half, just the first half in general. But we'll get into all that in a second.
Later. If we're talking about some, like a lot of the fun that we had was the the build up to the Super Bowl, right? Like we did the episode with Puello. Shout out to him, and the picks. Right, I think we went like 4 of 7 with all the picks that we named on the show. We definitely hit the Chiefs, right? We hit the under. We hit the money line. If you guys got that, the anytime touchdown was McCaffrey, right? That hit, which was a super nice play that they scored. Yeah, and it was a nice play, right? A little trickery how they threw it back. Mm-hmm. The only one that missed, I think, was Kelsey, right? Yeah. We didn't hit on the Gatorade. I think we nobody got purple,
I had
right?
Blue. You guys had red or orange, I think.
Nobody had purple. Nobody had purple.
None of us had purple.
What was another one? Oh, for the halftime show, dog, was always Usher going out there killing it. I don't know if I like him taking off the shirt.
Did you expect Usher to keep his shirt on the entire time?
Yeah, I kind of did, dog.
No shot, dog.
Come on, man.
Shot. It's Usher. You're lucky he put some outfit back on afterwards, but you know that those puppies were going to come out, bro.
Talk to me how about...
That guy's like 50, isn't he?
Yeah. He's up there. He's up there. Talk to me about how the internet was roasting fucking Ludacris with the shoulder pads and shit like that. And fucking... looking like the dude from Dodgeball. And then they were burning Jermaine Dupri too.
Yo, it was so
funny. What the hell was he wearing, dog?
Nobody knew that was Jermaine Dupri. I said it. I was like, is that JD?
For a second, my girl was like, is that CeeLo? And I was like,
that's what everybody thought.
I was like, yo, if that is him, my man has lost major weight, dog. You know what I mean? But it definitely wasn't, dog.
It was JD out there, dog.
That shit was weird.
It
was weird.
But the show was dope. I enjoyed the halftime show. I thought it was pretty cool.
I mean, he did the songs that he had to do,
Alicia
dog.
Keys come out there, and her and Usher got a little intimate out there. I wonder how Swizz Beatz feels about that.
God bless that woman, dog.
Yo, she's thick, dog.
She's fine. Yeah. She is fine.
And she's also like 52.
And an amazing entertainer, dog. Out of everybody who was singing live there, it was probably her for the most part. You know what I mean?
100%. And she played the piano too.
And she's playing the piano, which was a dope-ass piano with the clear top.
She's 43.
Come on, son. Come on. She's out there doing it right, though. But yeah, Swizz Beatz better... I mean, not better, dog, but I hope...
50 yet. He's up there, though.
I hope that Swizz sent that dude that text like, hey, cuz, you got to see me.
Nah, but they're all in the music industry. You know what I mean? They know what it is.
Still.
You know what I mean?
I don't see Beyonce getting felt up like that.
But you don't think that was pre-approved? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
They had rehearsals.
You don't know that. You don't know that. You think Swizz Beatz is going to come out and admit to that?
No, but they're entertainers, bro. That's like, you're dating, you're married to a actress.
I gave you a bigger example. I've never seen Beyonce get danced up on or felt or hugged up on like that while a performance is going on.
I'm sure we can find evidence.
Not even. And I'm sure the dancers, when she has performers, right? They get close, but it ain't you ain't grinding up on Beyonce, dog. You're not getting that opportunity.
I'll find a video.
You have to find a video then, dog. But the weekend was fun. Super Bowl weekend was fun.
It was a good time. It's a great time.
Yeah.
It's sad that football is over now.
Is it though? That shit's never ending, dog.
I mean,
because now,
right now we got the XFL and the UFL.
But even still, if we're talking about keeping it local, right? The Dolphins have a lot of decisions to make There's going to be a lot of decisions to make.
Football is over for the average fan, dog. Only you and I and whoever listens to us is going to be is going to care about the following months. But the regular fan, football is over. The Super Bowl is done.
Draft is how long? A month and a half away. Draft is a month and a half away, right? And before that, you're going to have guys get cut and teams, have to make salary cap movements before the draft in order to have some type of flexibility when it comes to that. And like I said, for us here with the Dolphins, we know that it includes a lot of names, right? We're going to see Tyreek probably get restructured. We don't know what's going to happen with X. Does he get traded? Does he get cut? Does he make the team? Like, there's a lot to be, like, there's a lot of dudes that are making big money. Jason Sanders is one of those guys, right? As a kicker, making $3 million, that we're going to have to reevaluate. And not because those players suck. It's just about the money and what other moves can we make with that money. So I think that football is not going to be over for the Miami Dolphin fan, especially knowing that every team that we thought that we were going to be able to compete with has probably, one of them won a Super Bowl, and the other two were playing in a championship and lost to that Super Bowl team, right? Which are the Bills and the Ravens. So those are teams that are ahead of us. That's just a fact. And we're going to have to make moves to try to get better. I don't know how we're going to do it, dog. And look,
we got plenty of time, dog.
Plenty of time. And we haven't even talked about the new defensive coordinator and how that's going to work. I saw Phillips working out the other day. Looked good. Starting to walk on his own and shit.
Good for him.
Yeah, bro. Real excited, hopefully. But I don't know, man. I think that football is one of those sports that really doesn't ever go away, right? It doesn't ever really go away. And especially when you have a great Super Bowl like this one was, that helps, fans long for that. Like, damn, dog, the Super Bowl is over. They're probably, NFL Network now is just going to be running replays 24/7 of games and shit like that. So if you come across a Dolphins game, you'll be like, damn. Remember when we whooped those boys' ass? You know what I mean?
Who watches replays of games, bro?
A lot.
Maybe you got a Flanagan's on a Tuesday afternoon when
if that shit's on, you're watching it.
It's just on there.
If it's on, if you took the day off of work and that shit's on, you're watching it. And I think that's what that value does for football, dog. And look, the Super Bowl was a great example. A very tight game, right? Went down to the last minute, to the last second. Overtime, right? Overtime. And it had all the elements of what you would want in a big game. It had the underdog story, the guy chasing greatness.
Who was the underdog story?
The underdog was Purdy. Come on, dog. The guy's Mr. Irrelevant, starting in the Super Bowl.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that guy's not supposed to be there theoretically.
Okay. You're talking about an individual.
And then you got, right. But these are all storylines that people follow that are not Niners, Chief fans, and are still interested in a football game, right? You want to see greatness. Mahomes chasing another Super Bowl. Can he get it? Andy Reid chasing another Super Bowl. The storyline with Taylor Swift and Kelsey. McCaffrey, with his dad.
On that bet, by the way, I don't know if you had that one.
Yeah.
How many times they were going to show her.
Yeah.
It was the over for sure. It was over.
Absolutely. Even the fucking, I forgot about it, but the
national anthem.
The national anthem, we hit that one too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there was just a lot of storylines, dog. Debo, Kyle Shanahan, his father, and like the connection to CMC and how his dad and his both their dads won Super Bowls together. There were a lot of storylines behind this football game, and I think that it delivered on all fronts, right? You got a comeback, you got a team showing that they can handle it, you got a team overcoming the odds, winning over adversity, and making big plays in order to win a Super Bowl. I thought it was great. You couldn't have scripted it any better.
It was definitely scripted. But what'd you think of the ending, though, as far as for the Niners, the heartbreak of the Niners fan that, sees them not capitalize, not be able to keep Kansas City out of field goal range, out of the red zone, and letting them tie it up. And then the scrutiny that they're getting also for electing to receive the ball in overtime, not knowing the rules, even though, frankly, it didn't make a difference because they had a hell of a drive in overtime and couldn't capitalize by punching it in. So it wouldn't have made a difference either way. What are your thoughts?
I think that, in football, we always notice what the miscues were, what the one play that made the difference was. And I think in this, when you're talking about the Super Bowl, it gets highlighted to the nth degree, right? Everybody that's a 49ers fan is going to go back and say, fuck if we had that extra point. That extra point makes a difference.
100%.
Complete difference in how that rest of the game goes, where the Mahomes has to go for 2 points or whatever, right, to get the win or to try to get the win in regulation instead of just tying the game, right? And those are small margins of errors that happen in a game that have the biggest impact. 49ers make that field goal. Again, we don't know how that game turns out.
That was a big one right there. And the fact that they didn't get there, it was crazy because there was 2 record-breaking kicks.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Bro.
The longest field goal in the Super Bowl, the record for it was 50 yards, 52 yards, and it had held for 30 years, over 30 years.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, Jake Moody breaks it, 55-yarder, and a quarter later, was it Harrison Butker?
Yeah.
He breaks it with a 57-yarder, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, dude,
a line drive.
The hell? And the fact that field goal didn't get blocked with the trajectory that he had on it was mind-boggling.
Golf analogy. You know, like when you're trying to punch out and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to get this little 9-iron.
Perfect punch out.
Right? I'm going to get this little 9-iron. I'm going to keep it under that tree. I'm going to hit it low and hard so I can get a good 60, 70 yards of roll once it lands. That's exactly what this dude did, dog. This guy punched that ball and literally sent it to the perfect. Because if he would have hit it higher, it wouldn't have made it. Because, again, it would have been too high and it would have came up short. This dude put
line
drive, perfect arc on that kick, dog. That when he kicked it, I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, let's go.
When he first kicked it, bro, I didn't think it was there. I was like, oh, it's going to be short. Bro, he cleared it by a good amount.
At least 4 yards. Yeah. At least 4 yards, which is wild.
Super Bowl in a moment like that, bro. Like there was a point in the game where he was looking like the MVP of the game for the Chiefs, keeping a minute, with that field goal and all that. But at the end of the day, I mean, and it's funny because, when the Chiefs were down, I looked over at my brother and I was like, bro, Mahomes is going to start running.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, you think so? And I go, no, so, bro. Like, he has no help out there. These guys are not making the plays that they need to be making.
Right.
Bunch of drop passes for shit that he's supposed to be, like getting easy completions on. And then all of a sudden, bro, the boy just starts taking off, using his legs, picking up first down, making plays, running into people. And it was like, all right, this is the Mahomes show, bro. This is Tom Brady 2.0 right here.
My dog had almost 400 yards of total offense. Threw for 333 and rushed for 66 yards. That's nasty. Because Tom Brady's biggest fucking strength was making things happen.
In crunch time.
We need it. We need this first down. We need a 10-yard play. We need a 15-yard play. We need to waste another minute.
Yeah,
we need to get to the right
Super Bowl catches can you name with Tom Brady in it? You know what I mean?
Come on, dude.
The most famous one with Edelman, probably. The first down they picked up in the Falcons game.
So, like, Mahomes was exhibiting that in last night's game just to the highest grade possible. You know what I mean? And that's not even me shitting on Purdy, because by all accounts, Purdy didn't necessarily have the greatest game.
But he did his job.
I think he did his job, and he didn't play bad enough to lose. A lot of plays left out there that guys didn't probably make for him, and I'm sure he would want at least 3 throws back.
I'm sure.
Right? Any QB.
But overall, if you rated his performance, you would say he did his job, I would say.
Bingo.
For who he is and how he's talked about, in my opinion, because nobody's calling Purdy a game changer or a franchise quarterback. Like, no, like he's a game manager, right? I think that's what the term is for him. He's like,
bro, I don't like that, because then 90% of the league are fucking game managers.
Sure.
Right? Because if we're talking about who's not a game manager, it's the elite of the elite. It's Mahomes, it's Jackson, it's Burrow, and it's Allen, and those are 4 guys out of 32 jobs. So, yeah, you can't call these guys game managers. What I think is you have to recognize what the skill set is, and does it match the coaching and the play calling. If it does, then you're going to have a lot of success. If it doesn't, then you're going to struggle. And that's probably the disconnect, right? We to tie it back to the Dolphins, we saw it when it was good, right? Tua was with a defensive-minded coach, not going to work. Not going to work. The moment we got an offensive coach with bright ideas on offense, started working, started looking better, started looking like we could win with this guy. Regardless of the skills that he does or does not possess, we're going to be able to win because it matches. That's what you get in Andy Reid and Mahomes. Those guys understand each other. Andy understands what he can call to say, well, at least if I put these players in this area, Mahomes will know that this is the type of play that he can try to create or look for or whatever. They have that trust within themselves. And the way that, again, it came out in the game was in the clutch moments. Hey, we're down heading into halftime. Fuck it, let's just go out there and try to get a field goal. They tried to get the touchdown, but Mahomes was so smart to say, hey, I can't risk this. Let's get the 3 points. Other coaches would have been like, let's go for it. Right? Maybe McDaniels goes for it. Maybe Dan Campbell goes for it. Right?
Dan Campbell for sure.
Right? A lot of coaches would have probably been that aggressive type.
There was a fourth down that Kyle Shanahan went for and didn't get, right?
Let's talk about it. For me, it's hard to tell a coach that's battling for the lead in a Super Bowl game, don't take the points. Because guess what? If he goes for it on 4th and 4, whatever it was 4th and 4 as a matter of fact, and they don't get it, he's the fucking scapegoat. Because there's no forgiveness for saying, why don't you just take the points? Especially us that we've done it before on this show, right? And we've known other people that have said, yo, you got to take the points when you can, especially against a specific opponent. You're playing the fucking 1-16 Texans? Go for it all day, dog. You're playing in the Super Bowl against Mahomes? You're not taking those type of chances. You're taking the points whenever you can. And you're relying on the defense that you have to step up. Now, granted, there were major injuries that happened for the Niners.
Oh, my God.
When they lost Greenlaw,
bro, that was
a huge shift.
That was the worst pot, bro. Running out on the field, on the sidelines, ready right after the kickoff. And he just falls to the ground, bro. That was so sad, bro. Like, biggest game of your career, and to go down like that, like non-contact, bro, that's just brutal.
And it's not we were having that debate with Pete too, right? Like the grass, the turf. That had nothing to do with it.
What is that, bro? Like, that's just a freak accident, right?
But when it happened, you can tell the impact that it had on the game, right? And it reminded me of when Phillips got hurt in that game against the Jets. It almost cost us that game because the guys were down. People were like, fuck, we just lost this guy. And you know what I mean? And that same effect definitely happened through the Niners, and they got a little bit rocked there. But overall, I think the Niners did everything they had to do, bro. And they even, listen, if you're talking about recovery, right? After the first drive ends in a fumble by their best player, the Niners played a hell of a fucking game after that and came back and really battled against a great quarterback in Mahomes, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, I think somebody had said it. And it's cheesy, when you hear it, the Niners, they didn't, what is it? They didn't lose that game. The Chiefs just won it. You know what I mean? Like the Chiefs did. They outplayed them that day. They outperformed them, at the last second. You know what I mean? Like, it was a battle. Like, it was back and forth. It wasn't like they got blown out or anything. Like, that shit was a heavyweight bout. And Mahomes made it happen, dog. We said it. We knew what time it was. We have no bias towards either one of these teams. And, we just looking at it from an outside perspective. The guy that's usually the team with the better quarterback is usually going to win, and with the exception of Eli Manning, usually it's the better quarterback that wins.
But even still, like, Eli Manning was the better quarterback that day. He made the better throws.
You can argue that.
You can look back at it and be like, dog, in that drive that they scored that game winner, bro, this dude is connecting with people, throwing at crazy arm angles, putting it over again. When you're in the rhythm and you're feeling it, baby, just like on any sport, whether it's golf, football, basketball, whatever, when you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those are the times that you want to be hot, dog. And yeah, bro, Mahomes was hot. And you got to give those guys credit. I just think that it was tough for San Francisco to keep that pace, right? Of like touchdown, score. I found it hard for them to keep that pace because they struggled to score a touchdown after that.
The biggest one that hurt them was the last one they didn't get.
Yeah.
Like getting that big play to McCaffrey where he breaks open and getting it down inside the red zone, bro. And like, you don't score the touchdown, even though that wouldn't have ended the game, Mahomes would have had a chance to respond.
Yeah.
Per the new rules, you gotta score there, dog. You know what I mean? You have to score there no matter what. Like, you drove it all the way down there. You can't in the Super Bowl. Like, you have to.
Absolutely.
You have to score there.
Have to. And now we have back-to-back champions in the NFL for the first time in over 20 years, dog. Crazy. And if there was one team that you would say would be the one to do it, probably the Chiefs. Probably the Chiefs because they're that good, you know. And as long as you have the best player at the quarterback position, you're gonna win a lot of games.
Yeah, and they have a crazy good chance of going for the 3-peat, which would be wild.
Wild. Yeah. Shout out to the Chiefs, man. Our hearts are with the Niners today, but man, in 2-3 weeks you'll forget about it, and we'll be right back to it, man.
At least you've been to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years.
Facts. We don't even know what a Super Bowl fucking playoff win is. Get out of here.
Oh man, what else we got, so?
We got the Heat. Them boys are struggling, and they're struggling hard, Joel.
Injuries, man.
Not even the injuries.
Injuries on top of the struggle now.
Injuries on top of the struggle, and I think that for me, like, what concerns me about this Heat team is like they're heading in the direction that I did not want them to head. Right now, they're in the eighth spot, dropping. 3 games above 500. Not necessarily out of that race, right, where you can be in the 5-6 spot, but there just hasn't been enough firepower. There hasn't been enough in the way that the offense has been playing. And even though we have won 4 out of 6 games, right? I don't think that we've looked impressive in any of those games.
What were the 4 wins?
The 4 wins that we had, excuse me.
One of them was against, I think, Washington.
We beat Sacramento, right, at home. Good squad, not a great squad, right? We beat Washington, which is not a good team, right? We beat Orlando, which is a good team.
I'll give them good.
And that was a good win.
And that was a good win. That was actually probably of that 6-game streak, I think that was our best win.
And then we had a game, we beat San Antonio at home. I went to that game.
San Antonio's not.
They're not good, and they're figuring it out. And even still, it took a quick start from Bam and Hero to have 10 points or 8 points both in the first quarter in order to keep the pace of that game.
But that Magic game, that win was the most impressive of the 4.
That's it. Because it's the only win that you could look at and say, all right, we played a complete game from front to back. We started off well. We kept the pressure on them. We kept shooting well. We kept playing good defense. Even though when they made a run, we countered their run. Everything that we wanted to do, we didn't turn the ball over. Like, it was a good game front to back. But the problem with this Heat team is that they are not consistent enough with their performances. And it doesn't matter who plays right now. Because either way, we know that we're getting different rotations and different starting lineups here and there, depending on availability, right? And even besides that, if we're talking about who's been our best player, there's no clear cut, right? You can say in spurts, it's been Bam. In spurts, it's been this dude. In spurts, it's been Jimmy. In spurts, it's been Jay Rich. But everything is in spurts. There hasn't been one dude who has dominated this season because one thing that Steve, shout out to Steve, man. He always points out in our chat is like, bro, Bam should be getting more than double doubles. And this is a dude who's averaging 20.5, 21 points with 10.5 rebounds a game, right?
Saying he should have more rebounds?
Not necessarily saying that, just the fact that it should have a bigger impact. Does that make sense? Like it's a quiet 20 and 10. It's not a dominating 20 and 10. And there is room on this team to dominate, especially offensively. I mean, like, look, in that Celtics game, even though the score shows that we came back, right, and we did make a little run, Tyler Hero started off that night terrible. He was like 1 of 10, ended up having to shoot the lights out for the rest of the game in order to make his stat line even respectable. Right? And he ended up with what? 24 points, 10 of 21.
Still 48%, 47%, something like that.
Not great.
Just and a lot of shots, man.
Just a lot of shots, And even Bam, 7 of 18. Not necessarily great.
No.
Averaging, again, the same shit. 20 points, here's your 13 rebounds. Yeah. But it's not impactful. It's not like, wow, what a Bam game. Right?
Well, usually it's whenever he puts up like 30 that we're like, oh shit, Bam went off. Because we're so used to him putting up 20 and 10 and us losing, where it's like, when he puts up 30, it's like, oh shit, what Bam did something different today,
Right. Now, granted, we have to give these guys a little bit of credit because they did score, right? And they did take on more of a scoring role, right, and more value of production that they had to contribute in that game. We knew that we got word that Jimmy was going to be out that Boston game. He had a death in the family. I don't think he'll be back for that game tomorrow against Milwaukee. We'll see when he comes back, right?
I think Terry Rozier was also
He
out.
got hurt his right leg. Report came back that he's week to week. But those reports mean shit to me, honestly, because week to week could be 3 to 6 weeks. And then we're talking, and that's if he comes back and is able to stay at that same level, conditioning, shooting wise, all that, and just plug and play. Because right now we obviously need him. We made that trade to help in that guard position. Now we don't have one. We're down another guard.
Lowry's going to get bought out and possibly sign with Philadelphia.
No, he did. Did
he sign with Philly already?
Yeah, he did.
It's an update for any Lowry fans out there.
I put it on the Instagram. Fucking bad move for them, but he's reuniting with his ex-coach. He went to college in Philadelphia, Villanova, so good luck, bro.
Good luck, homie. But
not homie, good luck, bro.
And then on top of that, then you have Jay Rich that went down in a kind of scary
shoulder
fashion.
injury. Went and got an MRI. Haven't heard what the results were, but that's not good. Shooting it arm, that's not good to have a shoulder injury at this point in the season, because let's say you avoid surgery, you're still going to be hurt and you're always going to be sore, or you're always going to be trying to readjust that shoulder and get it to feel right. Because as you and I know, when you do injure that shit, it's very tricky in order to recuperate and recover to get some back of that original strength that you had in that muscle. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know. Being in the 8th spot, bro, does not make me comfortable. Even though we've shown that we have been playing better, right? We have been playing better. It hasn't been impressive. And there are those hardcore fans all the way to the left that are like, it doesn't matter. Just get us into the playoffs, Heat in 5, no matter what. Fuck it. And there are the guys all the way to the right that are like, bro, this team needs a major upgrade, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get out of the first round. And then you have guys like me in the middle, right? Where I'm like, I want to believe that this team would face whoever and turn up to the competition. Mm-hmm. But my biggest concern is the role players this year. Caleb Martin hasn't been Caleb Martin in it. One good game here and there, and then he'll disappear for a quick stretch. Jay Rich had one amazing game and then has kind of tailed off a little bit. We haven't seen the best of Rozier yet. Hawkins is still getting his, rhythm and conditioning from being hurt. Hasn't been really playing outstanding like we've noticed in the beginning of the season. Tyler Hero has shot himself out of games more recently, having a hard time to adjust to his role. Bam, again, contributing nightly, but not impactful. Duncan, not really coming off the bench and lining it up like we expect. Can all these things happen to get better as we get closer to the playoffs and get into the playoffs? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we still got a ways to go before the playoffs there. My only concern is, right, this is where I lean a little bit more to the right, is our positioning in the playoffs. Positioning in the playoffs. I don't want to start the playoffs having to go to Boston, having to go to Milwaukee. We need to avoid that shit at all costs. Because then you have those crazy Heat fans that are like, we got this in 5, but we have to play 5 games in fucking Boston. Get out of here. That's going to be really hard. As much as we would want them to win, it's still really hard.
Yeah.
Right? So let's not get to that level. Let's get ourselves a favorable matchup, see what we look like in the playoffs, and then say, all right, this is the team for moving forward. We're going to stick to this 7, 8, 9-man rotation. Whatever it is, whatever it is. But we can't make this fucking playoff run be as difficult as it was last year, because the results are not guaranteed. Even though we have some of the same players, even though playoff Jimmy's going to show up, even though Bam could get better and Jimmy and Tyler Hero can get better, all these things can be better. There's no guarantee of that shit happening. So we cannot rely on just get me into the playoffs. We need to be smart about what position we're trying to end up at, right, as the season goes along. Do we need to be in the 4th spot? No. Would it be nice? Hell yes, right? But it's not realistic right now. We would have to go on tremendo run and other teams would have to fall off. And I'm not even really wanting that. I just want to see this team be more consistent and try to make itself in that 5 to 6, 7 range. Let's get there.
It's going to be kind of tough because the funny thing is, get this part. You were just talking about a couple teams you don't want to see in the first round.
Yes.
Well, tonight, by the time you're listening to this, we're playing
those jerks.
We're playing the Bucks tonight.
F those guys.
And then follow that up back to back Valentine's Day. Take your Valentines out to go watch the Heat play the Sixers on the road.
Yeah.
So 2 tough teams, 2 tough challenges on the road for us.
Yeah.
And, the schedule doesn't get any better. We got to go out west now and stuff. We got to come
New Orleans, Sacramento.
Trailblazers, the Kings. We got to go out west after that. So we're running out of time here, it feels like. And for me, bro, based off the history, it's I got faith in this team. You got to, as long as we have Spo, Jimmy, Bam, you got to have faith in this team that they can make a playoff run.
Yeah.
You got to give them that respect. They've earned that, in my opinion. However, you've brought this up before, and because of the fact that we have a lack of those role players and where we can actually, dominate games, let's say, you know what I mean? The fear of every game in the playoffs being a grind and potentially going to 7 games, and the lack of continuity that we've had all season with everybody being out there and, people being completely healthy and up to date, that's something that could take a toll on us in a deep playoff run. We gotta be healthy, so it might be something good that we're seeing Jimmy sit so that he stays healthy, but at the same time, what's his conditioning going to look like Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals this year?
I don't think that that's a good thing, bro. And don't get me wrong, obviously he's not sitting because he wants to sit right now, right? Because he's been on fire, especially from 3. I think he's been shooting 45% from 3 in the last 2 weeks. So yeah, obviously Jimmy's high. We need him to keep playing this well, but he can't be the only guy we rely on. We need these guys to really to step up and make it more of a team effort to allow Jimmy to take it easier in these regular games. If that's the case, right? If the case is all right, let's try to massage Jimmy in there, right? Everybody else, I need you to start contributing often and early so that this guy can kind of close the game out for us, right? And just have 16 points, fucking scoring 8 points in the fourth quarter. I'll take that, right? I don't know if it'll work often for this Heat team because they may have to battle to even make that game close in the fourth quarter. But I think that this timing with the All-Star break and how hurt we are and the guys that haven't been available, the guys that need to come in and get some extra reps, right? Rozier needs to fucking find an apartment to live at, right? And get settled in. I think it comes at a good time, right? We're going to have this All-Star break in 2 weeks, and I think it's going to be a good break for this Heat team to kind of just be all right, let's hone in, let's refocus. What is our main objective? What is the best way for us to get there? And how can we get everybody on the same page, right? Once we do that, I think we'll see a change in how this Heat team is playing. And then I think we'll see a change in the results, right? We'll start to win more games. I'm not expecting these guys to go out there and give me a 6, 7, 8 game winning streak. Would I love it? Of course.
I mean, absolutely.
But I don't see
we could use one.
We could use one.
But
I'll take the 4 out of 6, right? Like they've done so far. I'll take 6 out of 8.
Yeah, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. You know what I mean? I'll take that. I'll take that as we get progressively better.
500.
Right.
We can't go on that. What was it, 9?
No, it was like an 8 game, 9 game, 7 game losing streak. Can't do that.
We can't have that again.
No. And just get progressively better, little by little. You know what I mean? It's still a long way to end the season. And we have time to do positioning for the seed, but seeding is definitely going to be important for this Heat team, man. Milwaukee. Hopefully we beat those guys, man. Let's see.
Yeah. I don't even know if Dame's going to, I'm sure they have their whole squad, Dame and Giannis and stuff. And then the 76ers, I don't know what's going on with them, or at least with Joel Embiid.
They got Pat Bev too now.
He's been out though.
At Milwaukee.
Embiid might be done for the season, allegedly, or something. Man.
That's another dude who's week to week. And when you're talking about week to week, it's what are you talking about? It's either months or not.
I like our chances better without him.
Absolutely. But still, it's still in Philadelphia, and that team is still good enough. And especially if we're without Jimmy.
And then we go Friday, we go against the Pelicans in New Orleans.
Yep.
Which I don't know how they're doing, but I think they might be involved in the playoffs in the West.
They're still alive, man. They can make moves.
And then you got the Kings, we said aren't great on Monday, but again, a late road trip game.
And that's a team that's fighting for playoff positioning as well, just like we are, dog.
And then we'll get together, that day to talk about all that stuff. But we still have another 2 road games after that. So it's a five game.
But there's an all-star break in between that.
Yeah, you're still talking about 6 games on the road. You know what I mean? And plus, the all-star break is going to come good as a break for that. A little bit of a break for it. But, it's still a lot of games on the road back-to-back, bro.
They got to figure it out.
You're not home for a while,
Figure it out.
Yeah, figure the shit out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Figure it out.
Figure it out. Damn it. More pizza mañana. Man. But let's see. We're going to find out what this team is about, dog. In these next 2 months, we're going to find out what the fuck this team is about. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Panthers. We know what they're about. This is a team that's really focused on winning. They had a 4-game winning streak. When we were recording last week, they went into the All-Star break, which was cool for Big Bob and Sam Reinhart because those guys deserve that recognition. Came back home, lost the first game of the homestand against Philadelphia in a tight game, 2-1. But yeah, and then we got right back into it and ripped off 2 wins against Washington and a more impressive win against Colorado. 4-0.
That was the impressive one.
That's a good one. That's a real good one. Keeping the
shut them out.
Shut them out, but like really just keeping the high level of play at home for this Panthers team, man, has been so clutch for these guys this year. And yeah, bro, when you got a guy with almost 40 goals so far in the season with Sam Reinhart creeping right there at 39, like that this team is really positioned in the way that they wanted to, which was crazy seeing how when they started the season, Joel, it was really bad, right? Like we were kind of hounding them for the rough start and like really not playing well
to their caliber.
Absolutely not. Not even close.
Now it's like firing on all cylinders.
Yes, bro. Yes. And
they're looking like they're prime.
You know what's the good tell of a team, Joel? When you can be really good on the road, right? And this Panthers team is 17-7-2 on the road so far this year, dog.
Beautiful.
The only team that has a better record than that on the road is Boston. That's it. And we know what type of class Boston is playing with this year, right? They're ahead of us by 3 points. They do, but we're right there neck and neck with them. We actually have more wins than they do, but they have less losses, right? So they're up ahead with 73 points. Panthers sitting clean at 70 points. And overall in the league, again, tied for third as far as conference, as the entire NHL league. So when you're competing with the best of the best, I feel like that's when the Panthers know that they can't afford any slip-ups, right? So yeah, that Flyer game must have been a disappointing loss because of how close it was and the way that we lost. But just to see the resiliency and the refocus from one night to the next, right? It was like literally a Tuesday game, a break on Wednesday. Those boys were practicing on the new practice ice arena, and then boom, another game on Thursday. They were able to maintain the focus, the energy, the will to come out there and play well and continue to get wins, dog. And this is really exciting time for the Panthers.
Yeah, especially right after their All-Star break, to come out swinging like that. You'd love to see that,
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Big Bob too. Shout out to Big Bob, man. Playing out of his mind.
Listen, he's one star of the game. Like I think the past 3-4 games. And it really is a testament to how good he's been playing. The goalie position is so underrated in hockey. You have to be in rhythm. You have to be confident. The guys in front of you have to be confident in you, and you have to feel that on the ice. It can't just be in the locker room. Those guys can say they have your back all they want, but they need to be able to have your back on the ice, and you feed off of that.
Right.
And I think that Big Bob is really doing the best that he can as a veteran to not only steady the ship, but kind of point it in the right direction, and say, hey, fellas, remember, we've been here before. We know what the goal is. What we're trying to do is trying to win a Stanley Cup. So let's steady as she goes, and this is the way that we're heading. And when you have captains like that and veteran figures like that in your locker room, you're just going to come out and beat a bunch of teams, dog, because they're not going to be able to maintain that type of focus night in, night out, especially in hockey, dog. Hockey is an effort sport. But the Panthers do have a tough road trip ahead of them, dog. On the road at Pittsburgh, on the road at Buffalo, and then coming back to play in Tampa Bay before heading home next week.
Damn, the Heat and the Panthers both play on the road on Valentine's Day.
That's wild.
Those parlays are going to be pretty crazy odds, I'm sure.
And people are going to be watching their phones while they're eating.
To be honest, because they're playing good teams, so I don't know how I feel, but I'm just thinking about the odds.
Yeah. I mean, but still, if we're talking about teams playing in rhythm, I think that the Heat are finding their rhythm. Panthers definitely have the rhythm. So why wouldn't you bet those guys together on a parlay?
Well, because they're playing Philadelphia on the road. It's going to boil down to Embiid. If Embiid is out, I feel confident going
even if he is
Panthers parlay. If he's in, I'd rather just separate those two bets. I don't want to parlay him.
I get it, but I would parlay them because even if he is in, like I said earlier with Jay Rich and Rozier, like it's hard to come back from a major injury and still be yourself, especially in basketball. There's no trainer that's, you don't have 6 days to get some rest and chill. And no, dude, you got to play Thursday. You got to have to play Saturday and then again, probably Sunday. So there's no time for rest. There's no real time for rehabilitation. Those guys are going to need that. So I don't think they're going to, and I don't think Philadelphia is going to risk Embiid so early, right? They'll be like, bro, the fucking All-Star breaks in 10, 12 days. Yeah, we're going to give you some time off, my dog. Don't worry about coming back. We're doing okay in the standings, right? We can afford to drop
and 3-4 places. Then keep a close eye because that wouldn't be bad. The Panthers.
That's not a bad bet.
I think the Panthers are definitely gonna handle business in Pittsburgh.
Listen, those boys are hot. Those boys are hot. Yeah, you know what I mean? Those boys are hot. And like I said earlier, 17-7 on the road. You got to keep that energy flowing. Make sure to bet on the Panthers because those guys have been on fire. I got a feeling that this is gonna be a real good run for them. You know, after the All-Star break, they're focused. Everybody's back, healthy. Going to be a great one for them. I really do believe that. Good second half coming up. Let's wrap up with the Waste Management Open. How cool was that shit this weekend, dog?
Bro, honestly.
Too wild.
It was too wild this year. It kind of looked like it got
a little bit too wild.
Here, dog.
Yeah.
They had, they cut off the alcohol sales on like Saturday, I think.
Yes.
Because it got too rowdy.
Yes. And you know what's funny? My boy Raul was out there, man. Shout out to Raul and Let's Talk Business. And he was telling me, he was like, bro, it's fucking cold. You know, like you're waking up to go out there and it's 40 degrees. Legit 40 degrees because it's nighttime when you're going out there to make the line to even, you know what I'm saying?
You're out there at 4 in the morning.
4 in the morning and it's brick cold, dog. And he was like, bro, those guys must have been pounding in the parking lot to stay warm by the time those guys were even hitting that gate to make the line. Oh, those guys were wasted, dog.
We saw a bunch of new videos of people falling all over the place or pissing themselves.
No, embarrassing.
Streakers. Right? I think we had somebody that
on the 16
showed their ass and shit.
Yeah.
Golfers, the pros getting into it with the hecklers.
Yes, that was a first,
Zach
right?
Johnson and Billy Horschel.
And even Spieth.
It's not a first. We've seen that happen before, but it sucks. You know what I mean? It sucks that you're out there trying to golf and you got people out here like it's a rock concert or something.
Not, you know what I mean? Yeah, from a good line from Happy Gilmore, man. Shout out to Carl Weathers, RIP.
Yeah, RIP Carl Weathers.
But yeah, dog.
You're the greatest.
Yeah, man. You know, you have to have a certain respect when you're at a sporting event, right? Like, I'm a yeller, dog. You've been with me at plenty of events. I'm going to yell, right? But I also know what's the line, right? And you got to know that you could say something all you want before anything happens. But, dog, once the guy's over the ball and he has that fucking club in his hand, you got to know to shut the fuck up. The guy's lifting his hand with the stick or whatever, saying quiet for a reason.
But, you know what I mean? Like, have respect for the golfer. If you want to heckle him right up until he lines up for his shot, and then as soon as he hits it, be like, bro, what a terrible
shot, right?
Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. Like, that's okay. I'm all, but like, you know, yelling it as the guy swinging the club, like that one was a little whack.
A little too much.
A little bit more respect than that.
A little bit too much.
But what else happened? The weather was wild. You were talking about the weather. It like rained out there the first day, dude. And then they had like a whole delay where they had to finish the second round on Saturday.
Because of the frost, everything was frozen. So these dudes are out there with the leaf blowers trying to warm everything up.
That shit is wild.
They're going to have to reconsider that shit for next year, dog. Like,
nah, it is what it is. It's just bad weather.
As far as like setting the tee times, you know, and maybe playing the first early round at like 6 with maybe some lights on in certain areas. That way, by the time the sun starts to creep over the horizon, you're at least 3 to 4 groups in. Mm-hmm. Like we did on Miami Golf Bros.
Right.
Speaking of Miami Golf Bros, we got the new logo there.
Hey, that's only for the YouTube viewers.
Holla.
Got a new redesign of the logo. It's just a variation of the previous one. But yeah, we're getting ready. The boys are pumped for the Miami Golf Bros Open.
Yes, sir.
Year 4, 2024 edition.
It's going to be raw, dog. It's going to be raw.
Be a great time. But yeah, going back to the waste management. we turned it off because the Super Bowl was about to start and all that stuff. So I had a bunch of people here, and nobody wants to watch the golf. They don't want to watch the end of that. So we switched it off, and I thought Charlie Hoffman had it in the bag. A couple hours later, somebody's like, "Oh my God, Nick Taylor beat Charlie Hoffman in a playoff." Dog, never saw it.
I lost my battery on my phone watching that shit on my phone because obviously I have the Super Bowl on, right? So I'm watching it, and I'm like, because if you don't know, I put a little bit of money on Hoffman and Nick Taylor, right? I was like, these guys got some good odds. They're both in the top 5. Like, one of these guys are probably gonna win the tournament. Crazy odds. I ended up, dog. I sent you I think $3 or $5 on Taylor and $5 on Hoffman, right? As Taylor started to take the lead, I was like, bro, you know what? This motherfucker's gonna win this tournament. I'm gonna throw an extra $15 here to win $48. And I was like, fuck it. Should I do it? Fuck it. I did it, right? They go into the playoff, and I'm like, bueno, if Charlie,
one of them's got to win.
Somebody's winning here, right? So I'm walking away a happy camper. I'm winning $75 because Hoffman's odds were crazy. I think it was like plus 1,500
right
at the time, right? He was like literally outside the top 10, had an amazing Saturday, both in the finish of the second round and the start of his third round. And just played really well in order to get himself close to the leaderboard. Once he got there, he just was on fire, dog. But yeah, I'm watching it, and I'm like, well, no, I don't give a fuck who wins here because I'm winning no matter what, but I'm definitely watching. So, like, the Super Bowl pre-things are starting, and I'm like, man, fuck this, dog. Let's see this playoff. And it was so cool to see the Waste Management go down to the playoff. The sun was setting and shit like that. And that's when you know that this is how much it means to guys to just be on the PGA Tour, right? We saw the golfer, and his name escapes me right now, that's retiring from PGA, his last tour, because he's going to be an engineer from one of these golf companies. Super cool. I think his dude's name was Naus. Double check for me.
I don't even know what to search, dog.
Just check retired golfer playing Waste Management Open. Golfer retiring from Waste Management Open. But it was cool to see the guys who normally aren't there competing, right? Because the top 5 or the top 10 had guys that you were familiar with, but they weren't all ranked number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the world, right? You had Scotty finish tied for 3rd, but then you had a guy like Sam Burns, right? A guy who's been in the, underrated for a long time, really play well, make some amazing shots on Saturday and Sunday to put himself in that position.
You said Sam Burns?
Yeah, dude.
Crazy eagle.
Crazy.
That shit was wild.
Dog, crazy. And even Theegala, Seth played like on Friday, though. Yeah, Saturday, not so much.
Sold on Sunday, bro. He was in the final group and shit. Another chance to win that tournament where he's been in that seat before and
faded.
And yeah, bro, he needs to figure that out, get to the next level. But
how nice was it to see?
Hole-in-ones on 16.
Super interesting on that. But I wanted to get your opinion on a guy that I like to look at. I thought that he played some really good golf this weekend. Had a couple of chances to get himself ahead and didn't really take them. But he also didn't have those same took those same opportunities and not fall back. What were your thoughts on Jordan Spieth's round this weekend, dog? I kind of was impressed to see him getting back to that high level of golf that he's accustomed to.
Yeah, but I think also the crowds got to him too. You know, like the erratic environment. Like he's a guy that's very finicky and like very
serious dude,
very in between right here. You know what I mean? So like, I think that he doesn't favor well at courses like that where it's like a rowdy environment, a ruckus environment, and all that. But I think he's primed to win something big this year, bro. Who knows? Right? Maybe sneak a major in or something like that. But speaking of major winners, the most important major winner of all time, no offense, Jack Nicklaus, because he's not active anymore. Tiger Woods will be playing in the Genesis Invitational this week, making his PGA Tour debut for 2024. Super excited for that. Can't wait for the big cat to be back. I haven't seen anything yet on his clothing line or any of the apparel.
No, but I'm sure they're going to drop it like Tuesday, Wednesday.
So I said it was going to be today, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Everybody's waiting for that.
But bro, believe it or not, I actually did catch the end of the Live Golf tournament on Saturday too, where Dustin Johnson won it, and it was all right. I didn't even know I had the CW, dog. I was just scrolling through my Hulu, and I'm like, "Yo,
what the hell is this?"
It's under not under CW. So I was looking in the wrong place when I was
a little helpful tint there.
Yeah, but I saw the end of that, and bro, Dustin Johnson. The fact that Dustin Johnson, and that's what Zach Johnson at the Waste Management was getting heckled about. Was about his Ryder Cup and losing it, and the fact that Dustin Johnson wasn't on that Ryder Cup team, dog, was a huge miss, bro. This guy is still one of the greatest golfers in the world. Like
it's borderline disrespectful,
top 5, bro.
It's gonna go down as probably one of the biggest snubs ever because it's not like he was playing terrible. This was a dude who
he won on the Live Tour last year. He's still, he did. I don't know what he did in the majors. Honestly, I can't speak.
Because was he playing terrible golf? No. So if you're a guy who has the experience and has played in Ryder Cup before and has played well and has won matches,
great record. Like,
unless you're playing trash golf, dog,
he should have been there.
You should have been considered.
He should have been there over JT.
Absolutely, because JT had a shit year. Yeah. Right? Really terrible golf.
The boys, the good old boys and all that. No,
he's our homie.
JT, but
no.
If you're going to talk like, all right, how are we going to win this? Like, you should have put Dustin Johnson there over him.
That should have been the move. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out this year.
I saw the end. It was dope. He made a huge birdie on 17. That it was just like a walk in the park for him, bro. It was just like way too easy for him on that golf course.
Yeah.
But Tiger, the big cat's back this week. I'm looking forward to that.
Tune
you should be too, dog.
Tune in and make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel because we got some fire on there for you right now.
Like what?
The 365 Flag Football Championship video, right. dog. Come on, man.
Numbies. Yo, go check that out, man. Your boy put his heart and soul into that video.
Yes, he did, and it came out amazing. So shout out to NAS and Death Row for putting on an amazing game. Shout out to 365. And make sure you're telling a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
To hit the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe below.
And make sure to turn on the notifications so that you guys know when we drop these raw-ass episodes, man. It's your boy So. Until next time, peace.